Tango the Trumpet Finds His Forever Home by Nanny Linda. Tango was staring out of the window of a music shop that had been his home for many years, feeling rejected and gloomy and always fighting back trumpety tears. A special offer sign was attached to him in the hope of attracting a learner or an experienced jazz-playing dude. It had been so long since anyone had held him and made music and blown fresh air through his brassy tube. Mr. Peabody, the owner, then arrived in the shop and shouted "Good morning" in his usual cheery way, and looked around at Tango in the window and said, "Let's hope today will be the day." Just as Mr. Peabody was relaxing, drinking coffee and reading the local news on his tablet, which had a cracked and mucky screen, the shop door burst open with a clunk and a crash, and Lenny Lummox entered like a bad dream. "Peabody!" he shouted. "You owe me 200 quid cash for that bet." "Oh," cringed Mr. Peabody. "I don't have it, Lenny," he mumbled. "I haven't sold anything today yet." "Well, you had better come up with something, or there'll be interest at 50 quid a day." Mr. Peabody then had a brainwave and said, "You can have that trumpet that is in the window on display." An idea then popped into the brain of Lenny Lummox as he snatched Tango the Trumpet from his resting place. He could give it to his brother Larry for his birthday. Then he rushed out of the door with a stupid smile beaming on his face. When Lenny arrived home at the car's scrapyard, he shouted, "Happy birthday, Larry!" and gave Tango a huge blow. A loud screech erupted from the trumpet and made Lenny's cheeks ache and glow. Larry was working on a car engine and nearly jumped out of his skin at the screechy sound. He then banged his head on the car bonnet and became trapped as the bonnet crashed and pinned him down. Lenny helped Larry free himself, and then a tussle and angry swear words filled the air. Larry threw the trumpet back at Lenny. They were always at odds, that motley pair. Tango the Trumpet lay on a dirty tyre in the Lummox's scrapyard for the rest of that week, until Lenny took it down to Ronnie Shyster's pawn shop and got 50 quid, the little snake. Tango's new home was even worse than before. It was dark and cluttered and cold, and if Larry Lummox never came back for him, he would hopefully eventually be sold. As it happened, by the end of the month, just as Tango had settled in, the shop was visited by Herman Young, who purchased him for his youngest daughter, Quinn. Tango was very happy to be in a comfortable and warm family home, but knew it was a mistake when he first met Quinn and realised it when he was first held and eventually blown. She was too small and too young for a trumpet, and Quinn's passion was dollies and a rocking horse, so Tango was left on the bedroom floor gathering dust and was taken by Mrs. Young in their forthcoming messy divorce. Mrs. Young brought Tango out at parties and passed him around to Tango's disgust and shame, as playing a trumpet takes practice and is an art, not for a rowdy party game. Saliva, alcohol, broken crisps and lipstick and different hot, spicy, savoury dips, all smudging against Tango's mouthpiece, yuck, by the partygoers' tacky lips. The novelty soon wore off, of course, and Tango was abandoned to a cupboard in a spare room. He couldn't even see out through the window. He was alone and just left in the gloom. Mrs. Young eventually decided to move house and home and went to live in a different town, and she left Tango in the old house that she had just vacated, wrapped in an old fluffy dressing gown. The new owners didn't want a trumpet, so they took it to a local charity shop, and Tango was placed on a shelf beside an accordion and a child's hand puppet called Lamb Chop. Tango would cry all through the night once the shop workers had all gone home, and the screeches would echo through the shopping arcade, and as a haunted area it soon became known. One day a man named Jasper Raffles was wandering around the town, and on entering the charity shop spied the trumpet and gently lifted Tango down. He wiped the trumpet's mouthpiece with a silk handkerchief from his blazer breast pocket, then slowly placed his lips to Tango's mouthpiece and expertly blew air which shot down the tube like a rocket. Jasper's playing sent beautiful melodic sounds all around the charity shop, and Jasper then smiled and patted Tango and paid by his credit card with the co-op. Tango was so excited he wanted to cry huge happy tears, but was very unsure of his destination, so still had many fears. When Jasper got home, he shouted to his daughter Marileia, "Come and see what I have for you!" And down the stairs ran a beautiful teenager dressed in dungarees of denim blue. "Where did you find it?" She jumped around with delight. "Let me have a go, Daddy, please." And so Marileia started playing Tango the Trumpet with a grace and passion and a loving ease. Marileia played Tango the Trumpet and practiced on him every single day of her life. She practiced and played him when she was at school and university, when she was in the jazz band, and when she became a wife. She played him when she was pregnant to her unborn little baby boy Sam. She played him to her husband Chet, and she played him to her granddad and her nan. She played him at summer festivals, fetes, and private parties too. She played him outside the coffee shop in town and at a charity event at the zoo. She played him and she loved him and eventually taught her little boy Sam. And sometimes Jasper played him too when entertaining with his buddies in his little jazz band. And when Tango the Trumpet was resting and had been cleaned and polished until he gleamed, Sam's little cot was his resting place, where he always had contented, happy dreams. Tango the Trumpet, with the sweetest sound when played and held by the most loving hands, knew without a doubt that he had now found his forever home with a loving family and many, many adoring fans.